I mean, it's just too expensive and Sony's lost their minds. Will that do? Hi, I'm Richard from DPReview.com and this is our review of the Sony DSC RX1R III. It's a fixed lens compact with a 60.2 megapixel sensor and a 35mm f2 lens. It's an update of the RX1R II, launched all the way back in 2015, and a lot has changed since then. Not least the launch of the A7CR, which is a mirrorless camera with the same sensor, the same viewfinder, image stabilization, a flip-out screen, better video specs, a bigger battery, and a list price that's $2,000 lower. But that's not what the RX1R III is trying to be. It's trying to be a small, unobtrusive, focused photographer's compact, and those have always come at a premium. If we look back, the RX1 series has typically launched for around 2.5 or 2.6 times the cost of the contemporary Fujifilm X100 model. And in Europe and the UK at least, that's also the case here. So I think we have to assume that it's tariffs that mean that the US has to pay a 3.2 times premium over the Fujifilm. Whatever any of us think about the price, the question that really matters is it any good? And from having shot with it, I have to say, it really is. And a surprising amount of that comes from one change: the new battery. Two of our biggest criticisms of the previous model were its slow autofocus and its appalling battery life. And this addresses both of them. It has Sony's latest processors and its latest AF algorithms, which are a huge step forward compared to 2015. But that larger, higher voltage battery plays its role as well. For a start, it brings the battery life up to tolerable. I mean, it's still not great, but you don't find yourself worrying about it the whole time. Also, it now charges over USB-C. But we also suspect it's helping to drive the autofocus motor faster, because we're getting a level of performance we're not used to seeing in prime lens compacts. It's not suddenly a match for the Sony A1 II, and eye detection doesn't always get the iris precisely in focus, but it's a much more impressive performance than frankly we were expecting. The lens's optical performance is another matter though, with those 60.2 megapixels starting to highlight some of the softness in the lens, especially wide open. Things improve as you stop down, so if you're shooting, say, landscapes, you are going to get the full resolution benefit. We found we quite liked the way it looked for portraits, where critical sharpness isn't essential, and you're not going to be scrutinising the corners, which is lucky because they never really perfectly sharpen up. The downside of that bigger battery is Sony has decided to remove the tilting rear screen in order to keep the size down. Size concerns also mean you're limited to a 2.36 million dot viewfinder, which is the highest resolution available in the smallest panel size. Then of course there's the lack of image stabilization. Now I think it's worth considering that the Fujifilm X100 series went 4 generations with a fixed screen, and 5 before they introduced image stabilization. In fact, it was only when Fujifilm moved to a higher pixel pitch than this camera that they introduced it. But ultimately, they have introduced it. And with a price tag as high as this, any apparent omission is just going to look that bit more awkward. Overall, it depends what you're after. If you're looking at the A7CR and see this as a less flexible version, or one that's under-specced and overpriced, or lacking in video features, you should probably just buy that camera. But if you're an X100 user and you want a super-powered version with better autofocus, better image quality, albeit not quite such attractive JPEGs, then that's what your money buys you. Ultimately, the RX1R III is a halo product, and it costs a lot of money. But whatever you think about that, it's also an extremely good, extremely capable photographer's compact. For our full review, test images, and downloadable samples, head to dpreview.com.